Hello everybody, I'm Alfie Joey. It's been 3 weeks since we lost our special friend Lisa Shaw, and in that time I think we've all cried, and through the tears we've all smiled as we shared our memories of a wonderful friend, a brilliant colleague, and your countless tons of messages of love for Lisa. They've been a real testament to how much she was loved on and off the radio.
Hi, it's Rick in Heaton, sending my love to all the family. She felt like she was in everybody's house in the region and was the voice of the region.
We met at Washington Old Hall. Just what a nice person, and I've listened to her show for years, and she's going to be a miss. She's going to be a really big miss.
She was just like our family as well, and we just loved listening to her. She brought so much joy into our house. Just to say thank you for the joy that she brought into our life.
Over the years, she's been an absolute brick, but over these last few months during the pandemic, she's made us laugh, cheered us up, give the children things to do. What a miss she's going to be.
During many, many horrendous family illnesses and dreadful time that we've been having, I used to sit in the RVI car park and just be broken, really, but just switching on the radio and listening to her cheerful voice and how lovely she was with everybody she interviewed. Used to lift the spirits.
She was just the utmost professional, and she's going to be very sadly missed.
So this morning, her family and friends celebrated Lisa's life at a service at Durham Cathedral. And as Lisa shared so much of her life with us on the radio, we wanted to remember her for what she did best, talking to you and listening to you. Her warm words, that addictive laugh, helped so many of us through lockdown, including me. We laughed a lot. We always had a good banter at 20 to 10, about the same time every day when she'd pop into the studio. Sometimes I'd be looking at her through the glass, 2 sheets of glass away. She'd be getting ready for her show, smiling at me, and sometimes I'd try and wind her up while I was on air. And there was one time I issued her a challenge. This was in April 2020, just after lockdown kicked in, and she didn't shy away from it.
Back on the 1st of April, Alfie Joey from Breakfast took a call on his show that changed the course of my show when he spoke to Marjorie in Newcastle.
I'm one of the self-isolators. I've got blood cancer, so I've got self-isolate for 12 weeks. So I was just wondering if Radio Newcastle, like say at 11 o'clock, could put on some dance music and you could...
That's a yes from me, because I'm not on then, but I will say yes. I will say yes, and I'll challenge Lisa Shaw. I think she'd be out of breath. She wouldn't be able to do the rest of the show. But...
maybe it's just a little dance session, you could do some dad dancing or something,
Yes.
So standard Alfie, thinking he'd set me up with something I didn't want to do, but the joke was on him. Because I did want to do it. And next thing she knew, Marjorie was on air with South Shields dance instructor Stuart Hatton Jr. about to do the bus stop.
Morning.
So you want to dance, Marjorie, is that right?
Well, it's just so I don't get stagnant,
I know how you feel. If we can help, if we can get something going, Marjorie, we are here to do just that. So, Stuart, what sort of dance moves might we be doing?
This is different for me. I never taught dancing over the radio, but I thought we could do a nice little basic old-style disco bus stop. Step, tap, and shimmy your shoulders, shimmy!
Marjorie, are you still with us?
Well, I am, but I'm having trouble holding the phone.
That laugh, very infectious, wasn't it? And we know it was something that made lots of people smile at a really difficult time. And there was a real sense of community on Lisa's show, without doubt, when the pandemic first started all over the Northeast. People came together to laugh, to cry, and to show appreciation for the everyday heroes who made a difference, like Pauline in Bamborough.
Where I live in Bamborough, the vicar and a parish councillor sectioned the village up. So there's team leaders in each part, and our team leader that lives up in our little cul-de-sac up here, she will phone me and organise food, and the village, the butcher will do a delivery service. 1 or 2 of the hotels said they would do takeaway meals if you pick them up. And then we've got a greengrocer in Sea Houses who will deliver once a week. And so we were going to have like a community order, so that it only has to come to one place here in our community. And our team leader will bring it to my door.
Wow. The community is really pulling together in Bamborough by the sounds of it, Pauline.
It is absolutely fantastic, but it's all very quiet here now.
Yeah.
I believe it was mad at the weekend because everybody came to the coast. Well, we love our visitors, but not at the minute.
Stay away. Stay away at the minute is definitely the message.
Yeah.
Pauline, let me find out a little bit about your life, because actually you're a bit of a medical wonder, aren't you? Tell us, because you've been fighting cancer for many years now, haven't you?
Well, yes, I've had various cancers. The bowel cancer I had chemo for, but the kidney cancer, there was no chemo that did at that time work for it. And so it sort of went rampant. So I've had various operations, and the last isn't an operation. I was the first woman to have this beam thing in Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
I had a tumour in the brain, and it sort of it's worked. I had that done in 2016, and then I went on to do a trial drug at the Freeman, at the Bobby Robson unit, and at the moment I'm resting from that. I am isolated here, and I will do this obviously for the 3 months, I guess.
I mean, you live in such a lovely spot, but are you managing to not feel too isolated, you know?
No, I don't feel too isolated because the neighbours here, I can stand and talk to them, you know, with a long distance between us, put it that way.
Yeah.
I think we're very fortunate in Bamborough that we're small. Everybody is trying to help everybody else, and we're very, very fortunate here.
How are you feeling about the fact this could go on for months?
I think it's going to be difficult for people. Personally, you have to sort of try and have a routine in the day. You get up, you do your breakfast, you're going to have a little bit of a routine of the day and section it, otherwise I think you all go crackers. We're all doing our bit, put it that way.
You certainly are, and when this is all over, Pauline, we're all coming round to yours for a cup of tea and a sandwich at Bamborough, is that all right?
Well, I'd be delighted to have you all, and you can all walk down then to the beach.
Wow.
Lisa spoke to countless listeners who were doing their best to help others during that time. Some of her favourites were the eccentric ones, maybe the batty ones, from the lady in County Durham who put an oversized teddy in a garden wearing a new outfit every day for kids to wave at, to football mad grandad Alan Millwood in Jarrah, who decided to put the old mascot costumes in his garage to good use.
Well, I used to go to the gym every day. I always managed to squeeze in a couple of hours, and I missed that. So I started to go around the estate, just walking around the estate for a bit of exercise. With Easter coming up, I said to Joe next door, I said, I think I'll dress up as a rabbit, because we had these mascots from the football, and they're quite big. The heads are about 7 pounds, so they're quite big mascots. And there was a lion and a rabbit. And what I used to do, I used to put the rabbit on and go to the granddads at Easter and get in their eggs dressed as a rabbit. So I thought a good idea with the way things were. I said, I think I'll dress up as a rabbit. When I go on my walk around the estate, we'll throw some sweets out. And she says, I'll come and give you a hand. So just before that, Councillor Robertson had a food bank up at Headworth, and he managed to get 400 eggs from Cadbury's. So you can guess what happened. He rang me and says, would you mind on your walk, Alan, delivering 400 eggs around the estate? So me and Joe did that, and we spent all Easter Sunday doing that. And then on the Monday, because we'd run out of eggs, we ended up running to Tesco's and asking the manager there if he could give us some more eggs, which he did kindly. And we delivered at Cove Close, like another part of the ward. And it was my daughter's birthday, Lisa's birthday, just after that. And we went round to see her, and it was a shame because, there was no parties. And we just went to the front gate and gave her a present. And it wasn't until I come home, I was talking to the wife, and I says, it's a shame. I says, I'm putting these mascots in that back in the garage. Why don't I use them and get dressed up, and we'll have a fundraiser and go around to kids who've got birthdays in the lockdown, give them a present and cheer them up a bit. So that's what we did.
And before you knew it, this idea was up and running. And actually, are there some other recruits that you got kind of to help you in as well?
Yeah, there was Mick Dijon who came, and he was the rabbit. I was the lion, and we raised about £600 in 2 days on Facebook.
In 2 days? That is brilliant.
Yeah. Councillor Robertson gave £100 start, and Neil's Pharmacy, and the Premier stores in Scotch Estate, Nico Ali, he gave a £100 worth of sweets.
I mean, you managed a pretty staggering number of visits, didn't you, during first lockdown? Do you remember how many visits you did?
Yeah, we did 127.
Wow, what was the reaction like when you turned up for a birthday or whatever? What was the reaction of the child that you were visiting?
It was brilliant, yeah. I mean, you can imagine, us rocking up at that door with banners singing happy birthday, and it was fantastic, and we had some great photographs taken. The parents loved it, and it was good because we would park the car and then walk up to the house, and sometimes the neighbours might know we're coming, so they were out, and then just kids in the street were at the windows waving, and we're getting photographs taken. It was really good, and we kept our social distance, and we made sure we were safe.
Of course. I mean, that must have made you feel good as well.
Oh, fantastic! I mean, we had a great laugh. We enjoyed it probably more than the kids,
Spin around Kylie Minogue, and any time I'm ever going to hear a Kylie Minogue song or I play one on the radio, I'll be saying that's for Lisa, one of her favourite acts. And yeah, she loved Kylie. She once interviewed her during a time on commercial radio, and Kylie complimented Lisa's shoes that day. Lisa never forgot that. She was over the moon. And today, on the day of her funeral, we're hearing some of Lisa's best bits. One of the qualities that everyone, I think, has mentioned over the last few days is her warmth. We've had so many texts, emails, Facebook posts and calls from you letting us know how Lisa had felt like a friend, particularly in the last year. And she kept us company through one of the most difficult years we'll ever have, all the while looking for whatever laughs there were to be had. And we all loved her regular catch-ups with regular listeners, Pauline and Sue, who reviewed the films they watched as part of their lockdown film club.
I cocked it up on the last one.
Terrible.
Oh, Pauline and Sue. you on the final film club. I can't even get your theme tune right.
Oh, well, it was fine. It was. Nobody will have noticed.
fine.
You shouldn't have said anything.
Oh, no one will have noticed. All right.
One of the parts of a show she enjoyed the most prior to lockdown, and it was one of my favourite. I absolutely loved the My Tunes bit of a show, which we always said was a bit like Desert Island Discs with Geordies and Mackhams and Northumbrians. And she loved inviting people on with inspiring stories. They came into the studio and she'd get great interviews out of them by getting them to select their tunes and chuck the stories in between. One of her favourite people to take part was Cy King, the brilliant Cy King from the brilliant Hairy Bikers. They were both from County Durham. They both shared not only a love of food, but also their thoughts on the trappings of showbiz.
Cy King, pleasure to have you as our My Tunes DJ this week. Thanks for coming along.
Oh, and thank you for having me. It's a great honour and privilege. I'm chuffed to bits.
Because I guess music is quite a big part of your life, because you are a musician, you play in a band, don't you?
I do. I play in a band called Little Moscow, and it's hilarious when we rock up to gigs because people go, because I never say anything, and people go, flipping Nora, that's Kingy from the Hairy Bikers, isn't it? What's he doing playing drums?
Any particular experiences, any particular moments that you look back on and think, what, how, this is amazing. Not how, because you're very talented men, you're very good at what you do, but to imagine, however many 14, 15 years back, that this is where you would be at this point in time.
That's life's great journey, and what a journey it has, and because Dave and I come from proper humble backgrounds and beginnings, it's good to keep your feet on the ground, because the thing is that people very kindly say, well, you're very talented men, and Dave and I look at each other going, shut up, don't let anybody in. We're just getting away with it, Kiggy. I don't know about you, and I'm going, oh dude, same, so it's like we kind of always take it with a bit of a pinch of salt for us, because otherwise, there's a lot of sycophants around the media and film and television industry. Oh, you're wonderful, and you go, yeah, shut up.
I talk to lots of people who always say that. I'm going to get found out one day. Well, I think we all feel that way. Whenever you work in an industry like this, you all feel like that, don't you?
That was Cy King and Lisa. Then there was Northeast comedian and actor Dave Johns. Now, Lisa's team always ribbed her about the moment in this chat when she realised he wasn't joking when he said his retirement plan involved donkeys.
Obviously, a lot of people knew you for a long time with stand-up, with comedy, but you hit the big screen and you hit it hard. Daniel Blake, it must have changed your life.
Yeah, I mean, I'd been thinking about for ages, like I'd been touring for years and all that, and I was thinking about, trying to... It was the travel, and I was going to retire, and I was going to run donkeys on the beach at Whitley Bay.
Right.
Yeah, because I hadn't been donkeys on Whitley Bay's beach for about since the 60s, and I looked into it. And apparently the hardest thing was getting public liability insurance, because I remember in the 60s, if you were a kid and you fell off a donkey, it was your fault. Apparently it's the donkey's fault now, with all the litigation, man. So I was going to do that, and then what happened was a friend of mine said that Ken Loach was looking for a guy my age for a film. He has the casting, so I sat on it for a bit, and then I thought, I'll text her. And when it won the BAFTA, she said, I've got the text you sent us. And I read it, and it said, hi, my name's Dave Johns. I hear Ken Loach is looking for a bloke to be in his film. I'd be up for that.
Amazing. She always loved having that extra time to hear people's stories, like gospel choir entrepreneurs Matty and Chi Chi, who she thought were fabulous. They told her how they started a choir on the spur of the moment.
She was minding her business, poor soul. And I was at work. I'm working in Children's Services North Tyneside at the time, and my manager was preparing for her daughter's wedding, and I was singing at the desk. And she said, oh, Matty, that sounds amazing. Do you sing at weddings? I was like, yeah, of course I sing at weddings. In my heart, I'm thinking, what a phenomenal business idea. And she's like, oh, could you sing at my daughter's wedding? I was like, certainly. And she was like, right, this is the date. We've got you booked. And I was like, right, Chi-Chi, guess what? Chi-Chi's like, what? I was like, we're singing at a wedding. We're a band. So if you just sort it out.
Yeah, but you did it. And
we did.
Just some of the brilliant Northeasterners Lisa met and laughed with as part of a show.
I feel it in my toe. Love is all around me, and And so the feeling grows. It's written on the wind. It's everywhere I go. Oh, yes it is. So if you really love me, come on and let it show. I see your face before me as I lay on my bed. I kinda get to thinking of all the things you said. Oh, yes, I did. You gave your promise to me, and I give mine to you. I need someone beside me in everything I do. Oh, yes, I do. You know I love you, I always will. My mind's made up by the way that I feel. There's no beginning, there'll be no end. 'Cause on my love, you can depend. Gotta keep it moving. Ooh, it's written in the wind. Oh, everywhere I go. Yeah. Well, so if you really love me, come on and let it show. 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 Come on and let it show.
Lovers All Around by Wet 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 on BBC Radio Newcastle, the sound of the North East. Lisa Shaw's funeral is taking place today, so we're listening back to some of the interviews she did here at BBC Radio Newcastle. Lisa loved getting out and about, meeting people face to face, visiting guests and recording interviews, taking the whole show out sometimes on outside broadcasts, something not all presenters relish because you never know what's going to happen next on live radio. But Lisa loved it so much, she even broadcast live from her own hen party.
It's a bit of a different one this morning. I got into work, I was told don't take your coat off, don't put your bags down because we're not staying. And I said, what? We're not staying? What's happening? We are going out, we are heading out to do our show from one of the really, really popular locations, both for weddings and also for hen parties in the Northeast. I'm at the Baltic, up where the Six restaurant is, looking out from the viewing gallery. It's absolutely fabulous, and we're having a lovely morning. The view across the Tyne is brilliant, and my bridesmaid has just turned up. I was not expecting this. This is Vic, along with her hubby Michael and her gorgeous little girl Amelia, who is very, very new indeed. Well, you kept this secret, didn't you?
A bridesmaid never tells.
Oh, right, okay. Vic and I have known each other for quite a long time, and she is my one and only bridesmaid. She's had the job of coping with me. So I'm a little bit scared to ask this question, but what type of bride have I been? Have I been a bridezilla? Have I been easygoing, Vic? How would you describe me?
I think you've been quite
low maintenance. You have had quite a long list of things for me to do, to be fair, but I have quite enjoyed doing all of those crazy things. And you've been pretty much addicted to Pinterest as well.
Yeah. I think that's good low maintenance. Yeah. And the thing is, you were asking for jobs, so I had to give you jobs to do.
Yes, I do like ticking things off the list.
There you go. You see, she's complaining, but actually she's enjoyed it. Because, see, I don't think that you've had anything challenging to do about being My Bridesmaid. Would you say there's been any challenges? I mean, we do still have a few days to go, Vic, haven't we?
Are you actually joking?
No.
Can I just remind you, Vic, there's this thing I would like you to make. It's a sign made out of a pallet. Right, okay, I'm thinking, okay, I can sort that out. I can look in a few skips. Luckily, I'm very good at acquiring these strange things, and where I work in a school, very handy people who can knock together signs, and then very artistic people who can paint. What about the suitcase card-holding bunting?
It's been done, yeah.
Glue gun.
Yeah.
You know, I had to call in favours.
You have done well. What are you most looking forward to on Monday, Vic?
Oh, I think seeing your lovely face. Seeing your lovely face when you get married to Gareth. And just having a lovely time. And, you know, I think the place is going to look beautiful, and seeing all the flowers, because it seems quite a long time ago now that we went and picked the flowers and that kind of thing.
That was quite interesting, because Vic and I went to meet my florist, and I have no idea when it comes to flowers. I haven't got a clue. We went there and Vic said, so what are you after? And I went, pink. And I just kind of left it to you and the florist, and you sorted it out, didn't you?
Yes. Well, somebody needed to. It was quite an experience. It was sort of in this farmhouse kitchen with Labradors under the table, and I was like, shall we have a bit of jip? And you were looking a bit bewildered.
What's jip? She knew. Vic knew these flowers. This is why I chose you to be my bridesmaid. Right, a couple of scenarios here then, Vic. This sounds almost like you're applying for the position, but obviously you have it. Mm-hmm. The weather, let's face it, this has been my biggest stress, hasn't it? I've been texting people left, right and centre. Could be horrendous. There's sleet. In fact, no, it's changed from sleet to light snow. I've just noticed this morning, yeah.
Good news.
Is it? So how are you planning to make sure, because it's your job, obviously, that doesn't ruin the day for me?
This is going to make the day even more special.
Is it?
Yeah, we're going to be like in a snow globe of love. So I'm planning hot water bottles under the dress, slippers, mittens to whip off just before the rings go on. It's going to be fine. Earmuffs, maybe?
Earmuffs on the wedding day. Right, okay.
We're going to have to embrace it. Embrace the weather.
Have you had your dress fitting, by the way?
Yes. It fits, and I'm trying to put it in a place where the cat can't get it.
Oh my God, don't let the cat get your dress, Vic, please. Okay, so finally on the day, say a couple of people decide to get up during the speeches and do a duet. You're not doing a duet. This is right. So Claire and Jane, my producers, for weeks now have been teasing me about the idea of getting up and singing a duet during the speeches. How would you tackle it? Would you tackle them, Vic?
I'd get a catapult in my handbag.
Yeah. Great, it's all sorted. Well, Vic, it's been lovely to see you. What a lovely surprise. And you have done a fabulous job. So a big public thank you, I get to say to you now, for being my bridesmaid and doing such a brilliant job. And I look forward to seeing your lovely face as well on Monday.
Oh, thank you. Love you lots.
And we'll have some Bucks Fizz for breakfast.
Why stop there?
The drink, not the group. But that would be fun too.
That's Lisa and bridesmaid Vic. Another feature that was hugely popular with both Lisa and her listeners was Lisa's Little Uns. Loved this bit of the show. Lisa visited schools all over the northeast to sit and chat with some of the region's funniest children, getting them to come up with clues for an on-air guessing game, and it was always fun getting to know them a little bit.
What's your name and how old are you?
I'm 5 years old and my name's Molly.
Tell me something about you. Tell me something that you like doing.
Well, I like dressing up as Snow White, and I like making up my own superhero character, and I haven't figured out a name for it yet, but I made my own weapon, and it's made out of straws and some pieces of paper, and I just pretend there's lasers and some bullets loaded.
That is amazing, Molly. I want to come and play superheroes with you.
She loved the randomness of those conversations, and you know, Lisa always remained totally unflappable, which is not always common in this game. The signal might be gone on a live interview, a button might not be working in the studio, she might be talking to someone, something comes up totally bizarre. Nothing could faze her, and believe me, not all presenters possess that kind of calm.
Drama, only attracted to things that'll bring the trauma. Overseas, yeah, we
trying to stop terrorism, but we still got terrorists here living in the USA, the big CIA, the Bloods and the Crips and the KKK. But if you only have love for your own race, then you only leave space to discriminate, and to discriminate only generates hate. And when you hate, then you're bound to get irate. Yeah, madness is what you demonstrate, and that's exactly how anger works and operates. Man, you gotta have love just to set it straight. Take control of your mind and meditate. Let your soul gravitate to the love, y'all.
People killing, people dying, children hurt and you hear them crying. When you practice what you preach, and would you turn the other cheek? Father, 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 help us, send some guidance from above. These people got me questioning. Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love?
It just ain't the same. Always new change. New days are strange. Is the world insane? If love and peace is so strong, why are the pieces of love that don't belong? Nations dropping bombs, chemical gases filling lungs of little ones with ongoing suffering. As the youth are young, so ask yourself, is the loving really gone? So I could ask myself, really what is going wrong in this world that we living in? People keep on giving in, making wrong decisions, only visions of them dividends. Not respecting each other, denying thy brother. A war's going on, but the reason's undercover. The truth is kept secret, it's swept under the rug. If you never know truth, then you never know love. Where's the love, y'all? Come on. I don't know. Where's the truth, y'all? Come on. I don't know. Where's the love, y'all?
People killing, people dying, children hurt and you hear them crying. When you practice what you preach, and would you turn the other cheek? Father, 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 help us, send some guidance from above. These people got me questioning. Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love?
I feel the weight of the world on my shoulder. As I'm getting older, your people get colder. Most of us only care about money making. Selfishness got us following the wrong direction. Wrong information always shown by the media. Negative images is the main criteria. Infecting the young minds faster than bacteria. Kids wanna act like what they see in the cinemas, yeah. Whatever happened to the values of humanity? Whatever happened to the fairness and equality? Instead of spreading love, we're spreading animosity. Lack of understanding leading us away from unity. That's the reason why sometimes I'm feeling under. That's the reason why sometimes I'm feeling down. It's no wonder why sometimes I'm feeling under. Gotta keep my faith alive till love is found.
People killing, people dying, children hurt and you hear them crying. When you practice what you preach, and would you turn the other cheek? Father, 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 help us, send some guidance from above. These people got me questioning. Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love?
That's Where's the Love, Black Eyed Peas on BBC Radio Newcastle. And we're talking about the unflappable Lisa Shaw. From sex dolls in Gateshead to the lady in Durham with 52 hedgehogs in a house, she approached everything with enthusiasm, curiosity, and always a sense of humour. Here she is talking to Dr. George Athanasopoulos from Durham University.
So did you basically take out a load of songs then over there to northwest Pakistan, play them to people and see how they reacted?
First, we took voice recordings from Urdu, which is the official language in Pakistan, and also German. So these were our voice samples. And these voice samples had different emotional connotations. So we had recordings in a happy tone, in an angry tone, in a sad tone. Then we had real music and also some artificial stimuli. So we played these to the participants and we asked them to evaluate these as to their emotional connotations.
So can you give us some examples of the songs that you played to them then?
Okay, so for example, in order to express sadness, we used from Chet Baker, Kind of Blue.
I guess I'm luckier than some folks.
We then used some samples from the tribe's own music so as to ease them into the experiment, and they would feel a bit more relaxed if they listened to material that they were already acquainted with. From some other Western materials, we also used some songs from Eurovision.
Oh, wow. So they had like a mini Eurovision Song Contest then?
We wanted to expose them to as many different stimuli as possible in order to get an overall perspective of how they would react to music that they've never heard before.
Please tell me that the two tribes that you played Eurovision music to loved a bit of Bucks Fizz. I mean, who doesn't? who doesn't?
We were actually intrigued that both tribes showed a very, very big preference for fast-paced, loud music, and that essentially meant they really liked rock music from the 70s and 80s.
Such an interesting study that you've done there and really interesting findings. It remains a fact, doesn't it, that wherever you are, however you've been brought up, music can really lift your mood when you're feeling down. That's a fair assumption, isn't it?
Absolutely. We use music to regulate our mood and to gain perspective in challenging situations on a daily basis, if not an hourly basis. Listening even to sad music may generate a comforting, even a pleasurable experience if it evokes positive memories.
Yes, Lisa Shaw loved the daft chats, the bonkers chats, but she was a journalist. She trained as a journalist and she didn't shy away from tricky, difficult subjects. She had a brilliant gift of listening and letting people just tell their stories, open up, which might sound easy, but it isn't. Believe me, putting a guest at ease in a live studio, getting them to trust you with what's happened, it takes a lot of empathy and experience and expertise, and she was a natural at all those things. Over the years, hundreds of guests shared their experiences with her. In October 2020, she spoke to Jay Patterson, the mother of Charlie Patterson from Cramlington. Now, Charlie was only 12 when she took her own life after being bullied at school.
I can't even begin to imagine what you're going through. I really can't. And again, I would just say how sorry I am. It became too much for Charlie last week. This is only last week, so this is
on Thursday.
So raw and so emotional. Why do you want to speak out now? Why are you speaking to us, Jay?
Because we don't want anybody else to go through this. We don't want any child to go through this. As much as I'd love to stop the bullying, it's not going to work. Kids say stuff and they don't think about it. They don't think about the consequences of it. But it hurts. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to change the law so that when kids go for help, the help's given to them and it's given to them within a reasonable time.
It's not an anti-bullying law. It's about support. Kids need more support, and in your opinion, they need it quicker.
They do. The CAMS waiting list is anything up to 3 years long. That's a long time. We are still working on the logistics because obviously it's not been a very long time.
No. Is this a way of focusing on something, do you think? Is this a way of feeling like you are doing something?
Definitely. For me, it feels like I don't want Charlie to have died for nothing.
I remember that interview. It really stopped me in my tracks. This is Aretha Franklin and I Say a Little Prayer. Now, on International Men's Day, this was back in 2019, Lisa Shaw dedicated her whole show to the issue of male suicide. Now, at the time, the North East had the highest rate in the country, and it was a programme which provoked a tremendous response. Afterwards, one of the guests, Michael, told Lisa that he'd been approached by people who'd heard his interview with her in the days that followed.
Within 10 minutes of the show finishing, the phone never stopped ringing. I got text messages from all my friends, and then as the night time went on, I was getting messages off all my running buddies who I say in a wider circles where I recognise them, etc., and they sent us messages on Messenger, and it was very emotional reading them because people were actually opening up. People who I've seen for the last 4 years, and I didn't think they actually had depression, and they were opening up and saying, you know, giving us long stories, and it got to about 11:30, and my wife just said, "You're going to have to come off because it's just too much."
Overwhelming, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. The following day, I was at training, and there was quite a few lads came up to us, shook me hands, and said, "Brilliant interview. It's been so positive." But on Saturday morning, as you know, that help out at the Rising Sun, and I was standing there with my high-vis jacket on, etc., and just waiting for the start of a race. And this man who I'd never met before came up, and I could see him standing there, and I'm thinking, is he coming over to have a nut or something? And he came over and he says, "Are you Michael?" And I says, "I am." He says, "I listened to your show." He says, and he started crying, had tears in his eyes. Wow. And I thought, oh, and I says, "You all right, son?" And it must have been in his late 20s or so. And I give him a hug. Just give him a hug. I just thought it was a natural thing to do. And he just said, thank you very much, and went off and did his run.
More recently, just a few weeks back, in fact, Lisa spoke to Grant Robson, the founder of Bikers Against Bullies, who will escort school kids who are being targeted to events or even visit them just for a chat.
It's a concern close to my heart about bullying. I got bullied at school a little bit, and I did a prom ride about 4 years ago, and at the prom ride, a couple of the parents actually turned around and suggested that it would be a good group to start off. When I first started off, I didn't expect it to be as many members. We're just currently, I think we're just under 9,000. We're about 10,000 followers on the page at the time.
When you say you did a prom ride, explain what you mean by that.
The young lad who we were doing the prom ride for was told by the lads that they were hiring the car off that they didn't want him in the car anymore, and he just had to walk because he lived not long far away from the prom itself. And so what we did is we turned up as a group of bikers and took them in style. Red bombed the prom, literally parked up in the car park, and everyone was amazed to see us. I think it was about 40 to 50 bikers, I think it was, and unfortunately it rained just before the ride, and even his mum turned around and said, if yous are wet, then he can be wet, and we all turned up as one.
You know, you said you were bullied as a kid, and so this as an issue is so close to your heart. It's so sad, isn't it, that it still goes on and unfortunately probably will always go on. What do you think can be done, especially now in the age of social media where you can't even go home and escape it? It's everywhere.
Well, this is the thing. When I was younger, there was no such thing as social media. There was no Facebook, there was no Twitter. I think they were just starting to release something called MySpace, which was just starting to go out as I was about to leave. But my release from my bullying was going home. Mm-hmm. Where these children haven't got that option. The videos they're just there for everybody to watch. They shouldn't be. They should be monitored. They should be taken down. They should be reported to the police. They should be reported to the government. Like, there's loads of things out there that could be better, and it's all social media based. I must stress I don't do this by myself. I have an admin team. If none of them were there to help us, I don't think I'll be able to control the messages coming in. We do get quite a few.
Really?
We've had messages of a young lady just said she's had enough and she doesn't want to be here anymore. We've actually dropped the shopping in the shop, jumped in the car at Chelsea Street and travelled all the way to Ashton just to make sure she didn't go through with it, and probably stopped her doing it, to be honest. Sat with her parents for about 3 hours, and she's a lot better now. She keeps in contact with us and just coming on leaps and bounds. A lot of kids, when they're getting bullied, think they stand by themselves. They don't know that there's groups out there that will stand with them. There's hundreds of people all over the world and all over the UK and all over the Northeast that are getting bullied on a daily basis, and a lot of people keep it to themselves. Even if it's just to tell us about it, you don't want anything to happen, just talk.
Your passion is evident. I know you want to help each and every person who's been bullied. I can hear that. And, you know, thank you so much for coming on and just reminding everybody you are out there.
Out of the sky for you, stop the rain from falling if you ask me to. I'd do anything for you, your wish is my command. I could move a mountain when your hand is in my hand. Words could not express how much you mean to me. There must be some other way to make you see. If it takes my heart and soul, you know I'd pay the price. Everything that I possess, I'd gladly sacrifice. Oh, you to me are everything, the sweetest song that I could sing. Oh, baby, oh, baby. To you, I guess I'm just a clown who picks you up each time you're down. Oh, baby, oh, baby. You give me just a taste of love. A change of heart. If it takes forever, girl, then I'm prepared to wait. The day you give your love to me won't be a day too late. Oh, you to me are everything, the sweetest song that I can sing. Oh, baby, oh, baby. To you, I guess I'm just a clown who picks you up each time you're down. Oh, baby, oh, baby. Just a taste of love to build my hopes upon. You know you got the power, girl, to keep me holding on. So now you got the best of me. Come on and take the rest of me, oh baby. Oh, you to me are everything, the sweetest song that I can sing, oh baby.
You to me are everything, that's the real thing on BBC Radio Newcastle. Elisa Shaw was incredibly well known all over the region. She worked at so many different radio stations in the Northeast before joining us here at BBC Radio Newcastle, so you probably heard her at Metro. If you didn't, you heard her at Heart. If you didn't, you heard her at Century or Real Radio. And at Real Radio, she won a Radio Oscar, the Sony Gold Award, and that was for Breakfast Show of the Year with one of her very best friends and another brilliant presenter, former co-host, Gary Phillipson.
I'm not in a good mood. You've set me up like a kipper here.
We haven't set you up. Basically, what's happened
classic
is
sting here.
We've shone a light on your lies, on your deceit. You had a go. Poor producer Mark, who admitted that he wore a bit of moisturiser the other day, yesterday in fact, and you had a prop, you tore into him, which wasn't on. So your girlfriend Emily thought it's about time that we outed you for the moisturiser you are. In fact, I've got a special bit of music I want to play to you, Gary Phillipson. It always surprises me when they make musicals. I always think, oh, that'll never work. You know, like they made Legally Blonde, the film, into a musical. Apparently, it's absolutely brilliant, that musical.
But can you imagine the sell for cats? Right, we're going to get people to dress up as cats and pretend that they run around an alleyway.
Exactly.
You know,
Starlight Express.
Yeah,
people are going to roller skate around the theatre.
And pretend they're trains. Yeah.
Wherever she was working, she was laughing. A laugh was one of the things I think we're going to miss most. Every week, She creased at the double entendres, the carry-on style jokes dished out by BBC Newcastle's gardening expert, Marion Foster.
These early ones are often the ones that are planted on roadsides or on more exposed sites because they can stand up to that buffeting better. But I think my favourite of all is a tiny multi-headed narcissus. It's got a terrible name. It's called Canaliculatus. But it's, I know, there isn't an everyday name for it.
That's a personal question for this time of a Tuesday morning.
Only you would see that. I was thinking of canals, actually.
Poor Marion. You'd often hear Lisa giving very serious experts and newsreaders alike the giggles, as well as fellow presenters. On this occasion, it was Anna Foster.
I'd love to hear from people on what they've achieved today, something good. I don't care how small it is.
Yeah.
I want to celebrate, because yesterday I was such a Debbie Downer. I spent all day going, well, that was bad, that was awful, I haven't done that and I haven't done that. And today I thought, well, do you know what? You've made a bolognese and it's not even 7 a.m. Good lass.
I made a chicken dinner last night, Monday night chicken dinner. I was quite chuffed with that. And my own Yorkshires, by the way.
That's exceptional. Were they Yorkshire puddings or were they Yorkshire biscuits? Because sometimes
I'm quite proud of my puddings.
Did they say, Lise?
Yeah.
Buoyant puddings. Lisa Shaw and her buoyant puddings.
That'll pop up again somewhere, won't it? Anna, lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Pleasure, Lise.
Oh, God, I always do this, don't I?
So today's the day we say goodbye to our friend Lisa Shaw. But don't be sad. She wouldn't want you to be. She never wanted the focus to be on her. That was again a gift of hers. It was always about other people. Let's be thankful that we just had the chance to know her, to share our stories and our lives with her. And remember that amazing smile, that laugh that we've talked about. We'll miss you, Lisa, and we'll never forget you. We'll leave you with one of Lisa's favourite songs. Take That, The Greatest Day.
Today this could be the greatest day of our lives. Before it all ends, before we run out of time, stay close to me. Stay close to me. Watch the world come alive tonight. Stay close to me. Tonight this could be the greatest night of our lives. Let's make a new start. The future is ours to find. Can you see it? Can you see it in my eyes? Can you feel it now? Can you hold it in your arms This could be the greatest day of our lives. Today this could be the greatest day of our lives. Oh, and the world comes alive, and the world comes alive, and the world comes alive. Oh, 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 stay close to me. Hold on, stay close to me.
BBC Sounds app. On your smart speaker.
Play BBC Radio Newcastle.
And on your radio.
The sound of the North East is BBC Radio Newcastle.